Indeed, as the data suggests, there has been a lot of spike when you talk about gold and silver imports, and that has been an ongoing story. But here, the trade deficit is in focus, and we are talking to Ajay Kedia now about this. Director at Kedia Advisory is joining us on this. Good to have you with us, Ajay. You know, over October, India's gold imports have jumped, like my colleague was pointing out. It's jumped nearly 200% from about 4.9 billion US dollars last year. Now we are at $14.7 billion this year. So I just wanted to understand what you believe are the main drivers behind this kind of jump in gold imports.
Very good evening, Vikram. Definitely, the Reserve has given a complete insight about the data, but I think it was in line of expectation. As in last 1 year, the gold prices has almost went as 70%, and also there was a pent-up demand because easily we have seen in the month of April, May, prices was slightly corrected down, and again market moves up because of geopolitical and various other factors. So I think the figures which are showing in the October month, it's almost 200% gain, reaching to 14.7 billion. And similar kind of movement was seen in silver also. And as we know, the supply squeeze was there because there was a tremendous demand from industry, ETFs, and physical side also. All these factor has contributed this rally, but the amount which we have seen is purely because of the value what we have seen in last 1 year. In case of volume, we have seen the volume trip is there in physical market also because of this price rally. Here also we have seen some movement, but despite that we can see rupee has been standing very strong near to 88.63 as RBI is making sure that there should be a stability.
Yes, stability of the Indian rupee, very important, especially when you have this kind of spike in gold. You also mentioned silver. In fact, talk about silver, this import surge that we're looking at. Is it coming from industrial use, like in solar panels or electronics, compared to traditional jewelry or investor demand? Where exactly is the demand that is pushing up this demand for silver, and why we're seeing the spike in silver imports too?
First of all, the sentiment is most important because in last 1 year there were 2-3 new we can say news that has impacted silver. First of all, US making silver in a list of critical metals. Because of that, sentiment has totally driven. We have seen family offices and investments are now going in silver. Because of that, ETF demand has improved, and also industrial demand definitely in solar, EVs, where we see that demand has been continued. So first of all, everybody was looking that there will be a shortage in silver, so as much as they can accumulate, because the rally what we have seen from the August month, from 1st August to let's say 30th October, that was very sharp rally. We have seen prices making a new high in international after 1980 or 2011. We have seen a rally, prices testing around 53.50. So I think the industrial demand, ETF demand were the major contributor, and even our Dhanteras is most auspicious day where people try to take as much as they look for, as a auspicious buying was been there.
True.
All these three factors have contributed this.
So when you see, Ajay, these gold and silver prices hitting these multi-year highs in India, you know, we've seen silver futures hit higher than 1,70,000 a kilogram in October. When commodity demand triggers such big imports, one wonders if this is a trend that is going to continue. I mean, higher prices driving more imports. Do you think that is likely, or do you think there is going to be a correction and that's in the offing soon?
See, India is a very price sensitive, we can say, population. But in case of gold and silver, we have auspicious, or we can say sentimental demand.
True.
So in case of gold and silver, whenever there is a drop in price, definitely people generally wait and watch mood will be there. But whenever there is a rise in price, then definitely FOMO will come up. But we don't expect whatever the import or pent-up demand was been there in the month of October will continue. From here, we can see normalization of consumption, and generally we see post this marriage season in December mid, there will be a sluggish demand for January, February before new season starts. So I think the whatever the value or import figures are be there in the October month will be neutralized in coming couple of months.
Since gold and silver is part of the precious metals basket, they're still simply hedge or investment imports. Do you think India should see them as strategic industrial metals imports now? How should the markets factor that in if you do believe that's how India should be looking at these imports?
See, I think prior to, let's say, 5-10 years before, we were not taking bullion as a asset class, but now the major chunk has been no doubt will be there in the industrial side, but also the ETF for investment demand has increased. So I think we should take that this is a new scenario that has been building in last couple of years, like investment demand and industrial demand, which is more crucial. So I think some strategy should be there for this import, because I think this will be continued, because when we talk about the data is going to be consumed, or data center demand, semiconductor demand will be a continuous process. So I think the industrial demand should be taken care.
When for a month like October, you've seen this merchandise trade for India widening, this trade deficit has widened to about $41-42 billion. It's largely on the back of higher imports, and that includes gold and silver. And on the other hand, you have falling exports as well, Ajay. So I'm just asking you to measure the risk for us. This jump that we are seeing in precious metal imports, how big a threat is it for India's broader trade and current account position? Is this kind of trade deficit sustainable?
Yeah, I think the government is making sure that whatever the import has should be replaced with some alternate. But I think, yes, gold and silver figures like this we have seen in the year 2014 also, when we used to import around nearby 1,000 tons. So this is actually a non we can say productive imports generally, because when we import electronic item or oil, that is for consumption. But for gold and silver, as of now, we don't have. In case of silver, yes, as electronics are being, silver is a base for that electronics. So I think industrial demand should be continued to be there. But I think that is why government has came up with the idea of investment in gold and consumption in gold, like SGB and other, we can say, mutual fund has been there. So some investment demand should be segregated from the consumption, and then only we can see some relief in this type of import figures.
We'll look forward to that kind of relief. Ajay Kedia, many thanks for joining us with your perspective. Always good to have you with us.